nose. And then big, heavy sigh. Letting all of your tension in the body just kind of melt away. And let's maybe, if it's comfortable, go ahead and tuck your arms back at your sides. Take the big toes together. And then if you'd like, you can turn your head to either side. Take your knees out a little bit wider just to kind of open into the hips. And just begin to breathe into the lowest part of your belly. If you're not comfortable with your arms down at your sides, you can put your hands up overhead or even stack your hands so your head's a little bit more elevated. And just start to come into some nice deep belly breaths. As you come into those belly breaths, kind of notice the sensations that you feel. So when you inhale, the belly expands out towards the earth. As you exhale, the belly draws in towards the spine. And as you begin to breathe a little bit deeper and more mindfully, just kind of start to notice how you feel. So especially with that exhale, when you're really allowing yourself to let go. And then as you inhale, just really taking the time to be present with your breath. This is probably likely to be the first time that you're kind of mindfully breathing today. Hopefully not, but likely it is. So just kind of really paying attention to how that feels to take those mindful breaths. And then maybe if it's available to you, just begin to invite a gentle pause at the top of the in-breath. So as you inhale, pause, kind of appreciate that full expansion of the rib cage, and then allow the breath to release. So do that maybe 3 or 4 times. Just a brief pause at the inhale. If it causes any anxiety or increased tension, then just don't do it. But otherwise, just kind of appreciating that concept and notion of expanding the rib cage, allowing yourself time and permission to breathe deeply. Letting go of any tension around your face or in your jaw. So starting in child's pose today, just kind of finishing some mindful breathing. And then go ahead and set an intention for your practice today, something you'd like to focus your practice around. And then when you feel ready, start to slowly make your way back to that 1-to-1 breath. We'll come into hands and knees. And we're going to start with just some big circles. So we'll take them around in a clockwise direction, kind of lengthening out through the shoulders, letting your hips drop down, letting your hips drop back. And then after you've done that a couple times, reverse it counterclockwise. Same thing, just kind of coming into the side bodies a little bit, sort of noticing how things feel. So you start to mobilize a little bit here. And then we'll move the hands a little bit more forward towards the top edge of the mat, and then we're going to start with some rocking forwards to backwards. So when you do this, just kind of see how it feels a couple of times. So the goal would be to kind of drop the front of the hips towards the floor and look forward, but you might not feel ready to do that just yet, so just go as far as you feel comfortable. And then big giant exhale, drop the weight back as far as you feel comfortable towards your heels. So So as you inhale, you're lengthening out the front body, dropping the front of your hips down. As you exhale, you'll tuck and round, make your way all the way back into extended child's pose. So inhale, cobra, or any variation of that, pressing into the hands, straightening the elbows, dropping your hips towards the mat. Big exhale, spread the fingers wide, drop it all the way back. Sit bones towards the heels. We'll do that about 4 or 5 more times at your own pace. So starting to come in more to that audible breath sound, that ujjayi breath that's in your practice today. Inhaling to cobra, exhaling, extended child's pose. And just flow with your breath. Don't worry about pacing. If you are behind or ahead of me, just kind of do what feels good for your body. So we'll take a couple more cycles of that at your own pace. When you're ready, we'll make our way into back to tabletop, and then we're going to take a C-shape position with our bodies. So for that, instead of bringing our hands to the corner, we're going to actually walk our hands all the way off towards the left side of the mat. So your hands will probably be on the floor, and then you'll take a breath in, spreading your fingers nice and wide, and you'll sink the right side of your pelvis away from your hands. So when you do that, you're going to feel a side body opening on the right side. And you're just only going as far as you feel comfortable today. Let your head and neck relax, continuing to breathe. And then come out of it slowly, walk your hands back onto the mat, and then walk them off to the right side of the mat. Spreading your fingers wide, breathing deeply. On your exhale, sink your hips back, away from your hands. Again, being mindful not to hold your breath, continuing to breathe. And then slowly coming out of it, making your way back to the mat. And then here we'll come back into tabletop. Take a big shoulder shrug. So let the shoulders come down away from the ears. We'll send the left toes back. And then we'll pivot the heel and the foot down. Rotate over to your right hand and knee for modified half moon. So opening your heart towards the left wall, reaching those left fingertips up towards the ceiling. Just nice and mindful. Go ahead and take some wrist circles. Just easy. Good. And then reach that top arm up and over next to your ear. Big side body stretch. Good. Do what feels good for you. Good. And then take that top arm and then sweep it across your low back if it works. So you're kind of tucking the shoulder blade in and down on the left and the top arm. And then if you want, look up towards the ceiling or look down towards the floor. Good. And then slowly come out of it. Come back to tabletop. And then just shift your weight front to back a couple of times, or you could also cycle through cat and cow, whatever feels good here. And then we'll come back into tabletop when you're ready. A nice neutral spine, shoulders drop down away from the ears. Your belly button pulls in just slightly. Extend your right toes back, and then pivot that heel down. Come over to the outer edge of that right foot. Rotating over to your left hand and knee for modified half moon side 2. Lifting those right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Gaze is up or down, whatever feels best on your neck. And then from here, sweep that top arm up and over by the ear. Feeling that length of the side body, maybe circling out the wrist if that feels good to you. Slowly reaching that top arm back up towards the ceiling, and then we'll bring it back behind the low back. So nothing forceful, just enough to kind of engage around the shoulder blade, looking up or down, opening the chest a little bit more. And then as you exhale, slowly release everything, coming back to that tabletop position. We'll walk our hands forward towards the top edge of our mat, give ourselves some space, and then we'll press back into downward facing dog. So your variation of down dog, take your time, yogis. Just kind of see what feels good. You can paddle out your feet, drop your heels towards the floor, alternate dropping a knee in. Just kind of doing what feels good for your body today. Not making any judgments. Even if you're not moving as well as maybe you'd like to, just kind of doing what feels good for you today. Maybe invite some head turns, so just gently turning your head from side to side or shaking your head yes, if that feels good. And then when you're ready, bringing your feet back in so they're about hips distance apart. Just kind of melting into that down dog, lifting your gaze so it's towards the top third of your mat. Breathing. And then on an inhale, shift your shoulders over your hands and come into plank pose. And we're going to set our knees just straight down on the mat. So we'll take plank from the knees. And then walk your hands together. So keeping your fingers spread wide, but thumbs to touch. We're going to do a little bit of trunk rotation here from plank from the knees. So I invite you to leave your right hand on the mat. On an inhale, you're going to lift your left arm up and just gently twist your chest towards the left wall. So don't worry about how far you go. And then as you exhale, release back. And then really think about what your body is doing in this position. So if you have a tendency to lift your hips up, try to come back to that plank position. So you're feeling some activation around the midsection. This time we'll leave the left hand on the mat, and then we'll inhale the right arm up, looking towards the right. So a little bit of upper trunk rotation. And then as you exhale, slowly come out of it. Come back to plank from the knees. Engage the belly, draw it in, and then slowly release down to your tummy. Shift your arms forward and come into Sphinx. So we're going to press into the forearms. Think about lifting our chest both up and forward. Tops of the feet are flat, so nice passive back bend, but you should feel a stretch through the abdominal muscles. Gaze is straight ahead, breathing deeply. And then as you exhale, slowly come out of it. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, press into tabletop, and then move back to downward facing dog. Head and neck in line with the spine once again. And then look forward towards your hands. Take a walk up to your hands. And we're either going to take a wide, kind of a higher squat position, or if it works for you, we're going to come into Malasana, so that deep yogi squat. So toes are going to be turned out to the side. You're going to sink your hips down low, knees out to the side, and then find a long spine position with hands together at heart center. So perfectly acceptable if you don't have that motion in your hips and knees to just kind of take your feet out the width of the mat and come into a squat position, supporting your body with your hands on your thighs. So you can still kind of press the knees out to the side, but you'll be doing it more through the hands than the elbows. If you're here, your tailbone tucks under. Instead of kind of allowing your body to round, think about lifting the top of your head up, pressing your heels down into the floor and generating some energy by bringing your hands to touch. Belly button draws in, pressing the knees gently out to the side. We'll set the left hand down. Reach the right hand up and over, just gently stretching to the side. Good, as you inhale, sweep back to center. Set the right arm down, reach the left arm up and over. Relax your face. Come back to center. As you exhale, slowly release. Plant your hands. Start to bring your hips up and then toe heel your feet back in so they're about hips distance apart now. And then we'll take ragdoll or a generous fold here, grabbing opposite elbows, bending the knees, and just kind of allowing your upper body to sway gently from side to side with that generous knee bend. So this can really look however it feels good for you today. So if you want to kind of fold down deep, bringing your chest towards your thighs, that's totally fine. If you're not feeling that much of a forward bend, you want to keep your head lifted, also totally fine. So just do what works for you. Breathing deeply. We're gently pulling the belly button in towards the spine here, but we're really lengthening out both through the back of the legs, but also the back side of the body. Releasing that low back. And then on an inhale, let your fingertips dangle down towards the floor and then lift up halfway to a flat back. Lengthen the spine and shrug the shoulders away from your ears. Notice the activation around your midsection. Think about reaching through your tailbone and the top of the head. And spread your toes nice and wide. So you should really feel the four corners of each of your feet. You might be able to lift your toes up, spread them wide, and set them back down. Good. On your next exhale, forward bend again. Let your neck relax. This time, press into your feet. Take your time, but come all the way up to stand. Bring your arms up over your head. Inhale, reach up and find a steeple grip. So steeple grip will be fingers together except for your pointer fingers and your thumbs. And here I want you to think about really reaching up. So we're lengthening, we're giving our body space so we can take more of a complete breath in. And we're grounding down through our feet. So notice the floor that you're standing on. Notice your base. Reach the hands up towards the ceiling, breathe in. And then as you exhale, take a gentle tip to the right, really grounding down through the left foot. And then breathe here, a couple of nice deep breaths. Feel the left side body expand. Come back to center, lengthen up towards the ceiling. And then on your exhale, gently tip to the left, this time grounding through the right foot. And you can tip your chin down or up, so whatever feels best on your neck. Good, come back to center, breathe in. Little back bend now as you lengthen upward, even just lifting your gaze up. And then on an exhale, hands to heart center. Pause here. Good, drop your chin down, blink your eyes closed just for a moment. Notice how you feel in standing. Notice your breath. Notice the ground beneath your feet. Notice your space. Notice how you feel right now. Recall that intention that you set for your practice today. Bring that to your heart. Take a cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose, big exhale through the mouth. Come into mountain pose. Eyes closed or open, whatever feels best for you. We're going to move through a few half sun salutations. If it works for you, you can keep your eyes closed. Just really try to focus on moving with the breath. Of course, if you need to open your eyes, you can do that as well. On an inhale, we'll sweep up, take a little back bend. As you exhale, swan dive and forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up. Lift your arms up over your head. Exhale, hands to heart. Pacing with your breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, plant your hands and step your left leg back and come into high lunge. If you're less comfortable in high lunge, you can drop that back knee down and come into low lunge. So up on the ball of the back foot, lengthening that left hip through the front, straightening your back knee, shoulders stack up over the pelvis here, lifting your gaze. Good, think about reaching through the fingertips, really creating some space on the bottom of your right foot. Continuing to breathe here as you exhale. Take your hands all the way down to the mat and find plank pose. Breathe in, set your knees down, release all the way to your tummy. Inhale to baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Looking forward, step the left foot through, high lunge, side two. Really spreading the toes wide on that front foot. Back knee is straight, up on the ball of the back foot, lifting your gaze. Breathing, reaching through the fingertips, lengthening the side bodies. Exhale, step forward, inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart. So high lunge salutation, one more time. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, left foot back, high lunge. Rise or walk your hands up. Back knee is straight, lift your gaze. Exhale, hands to the mat, plank. Inhale, exhale, knees to the mat, lower all the way to your tummy. Inhale, baby cobra or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Looking forward, this time we'll step the left foot through. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. From here, we're going to step our left foot back, so kind of a staggered stance, and we're going to prep for pyramid pose. So right toes will stay forward, left toes will be slightly turned out to the side. Go ahead and bring your hands to your hips. So heart is forward. So not quite as wide as you might be for warrior two. Lift your chest so your shoulders come over your hips. So you're going to lead with your heart. You're going to hinge at your hip crease. Lead with your heart and fold over that front leg. So this is going to really be dependent on several things, but you're just going to kind of fold as far as you feel comfortable, and then you'll put your hands on your legs. So your leg will kind of be your prop. If you have a block or two, you certainly can use them. But essentially taking a forward bend over those legs coming into pyramid. So we're going to pause here for a little bit. You're going to really start to feel some length into the low back and into the hamstrings. And as you continue to breathe into where you feel most restricted, maybe you find more length, maybe you stay where you are. Good. We're going to leave our left hand on that right leg wherever it falls. And then see if it works for you to lift the right arm up and just gently try to turn your chest to the right. So a little bit of rotation. Revolve triangle. And then as you exhale, slowly release back, pyramid pose. Good. This time, go ahead and open up that back foot. Walk it back slightly. You're going to keep your right hand on your right leg. Both knees will be mostly straight, and this time you're going to lift your left arm up and come into triangle. So you can totally adjust the position of your hand on your leg here, so you're opening to the left wall. So when we take triangle, remember we're trying to get as much of our back body to the wall behind us. Good. Pausing and breathing, gazing up towards the fingers or down towards the right foot. And then we're going to use that top arm to sweep our trunk back up, and now we'll come into reverse triangle. So knees will be straight, just coming out of that forward bend. Really finding some opening into the spine today, a little bit into the back of the thighs. Good, and then from here, breathe deeply into that right side body. On your next exhale, take your hands all the way down to the mat. If you want, move through a vinyasa series. So coming from plank, lowering down. If you want to chaturanga, you can. Otherwise, just to your knees. Any back bend as you inhale. And then as you exhale, downward facing dog. Giving yourself a moment to pause before looking forward. Walk or step to the top of your mat. Breathe into a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Maybe a little back bend might feel good here. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Pause here. Take the hands to the hips again. Left toes will stay forward, right foot will step back about 2 feet. So you have your front heel pointing right back at your back heel. That right foot is going to be slightly toed out, prep for pyramid. So as you breathe in, you really want your shoulders to come over your hips here. We're going to hinge at the hip crease. As we exhale, you're going to bend forward as far as you can. And then let your hands fall wherever you feel a comfortable stretch through the back of the thighs. We're doing our best to soften through the face here. Soften through the back of the neck. You might notice a difference in length from side to side, completely normal. Just kind of allow yourself some breath into the back of the thighs. Let go of tension where you don't need it here. And then maybe come out of that fold just gently. Micro bend in both knees. We're going to keep the right hand on that left leg wherever it falls. And then we're going to inhale the left arm up, gently turning our chest to the left. So revolve the triangle. Relax your face. Good. As you exhale, release back to pyramid. And this time we'll shimmy that right foot back, toe that right foot out just slightly. We're going to keep the left hand on our left leg wherever it falls. And then on an inhale, we're going to raise the right arm up, turn our chest to the right, gazing up towards that right hand for triangle. Continuing to breathe. Gaze is up or down. And then we'll use that top arm on an inhale, sweep the trunk up, reverse triangle. Relax your face, relax your jaw. Big exhale, windmill your hands all the way down to the mat. Step it back to plank pose. Move through a vinyasa or make your way back to down dog. Once you make your way into down dog, sit it all the way back to your variation of child's pose. Take a couple of cleansing breaths. And then when you're ready, we're gonna make our way all the way onto our backs. So you can come through your side or just lower yourself all the way down to the floor. Once you're on your back, take a full body stretch. So you're gonna lengthen out, raise those arms up over your head and try to get up as long and as tall as you can, reaching fingertips all the way down to your toes. Big stretch through the tummy muscles, letting the back of your head hit the floor, just kind of neutralizing the spine here. And then as you exhale, slowly release the arms, step your feet in, and then cross left over right for that supine or reclining pigeon pose. So for this, you might just keep your foot on the floor. You might draw the legs in, clasp your hands behind that right thigh, and then maybe a little bit of rocking might feel good here from side to side, just kind of opening into the hip. You might open to the hamstring a little bit more by bending and straightening that right knee. Just kind of do what feels good for you. And then you can let those legs drop if you'd like to the right side. Extend your left arm out, turn and look to the left for a spine twist variation. Maybe blinking your eyes closed here. Uncrossing your legs slowly. Both feet on the floor. Go ahead and cross the right leg over the left this time. And just let the knee and ankle relax, your hip relax. And then if you want, you can draw those legs in. Wrapping your hands around that left thigh, maybe bending and straightening your left knee. Just kind of doing what works for your body today, what feels good. As we start to prepare for our final relaxation here. And then if you want to move into a spine twist, you certainly can. So that will be letting your legs drop to the left side. Extending your right arm out and turning your head to the right. Feel free to close your eyes here. Reconnect with your breath. When you're ready, slowly bringing your knees back into center. Take any other poses that might feel good for your body today before we make our way into our final relaxation. Once you're ready, my friends, Shavasana. Extend your legs all the way out. Let those feet kind of fall out towards the sides of your mat. Hands can come to your belly or you can lay them at your sides with the palms up. If your arms are at your sides, lift your chest up and tuck the shoulder blades underneath you so your heart is open. Your arms, your legs, your entire body is relaxed and supported by the ground beneath you. Blink your eyes closed or lower your gaze. Take a cleansing breath. Surrender to the mat. Surrender to a few moments of peace and stillness. Allow yourself to be here, present in these moments. There is nothing left for you to do right now but be here.